morning. Today is Sunday, November 16th. It is currently 5:27 a.m. and we just got up to do some work. So we ended up waking up early. I ended up actually waking up at 3 a.m., but that's because I was very I had like a really bad stomach pain. Regardless, I digress. I woke up at 3 because of stomach problems. And I was like bed rotting throughout the whole time, and then until like at 5 o'clock, I ended up waking up, and so I made myself a sandwich, and it's a really big sandwich. Don't judge me, but it's like a breakfast super big sandwich, and it's big because I put a bunch of microgreens and I put a bunch of spinach and I put like a whole tomato in there. But today, the objective or the idea is that we want to do Oakland Community College project number 3 essays, and I'm going to grade those. So hopefully I have the same willpower as I did yesterday when grading Wayne State students. But later today, I'll do the intro of the video because I closed off the video yesterday. So when it's normal talking hours, I'll do that. Over here. So update, it is currently 12:50 in the afternoon, and so I know that I woke up and I know that I made a little vlog that I started my day like at 5 a.m. and I was gonna grade. I ended up grading like about 3 papers and then I tapped out, especially because it just hit me like a truck in the sense of being tired. And so I came back to bed and I knocked out, and I woke up like at around 10:30, and then I bed rotted for a hot minute. And then afterwards I woke up and I know that I said this, but I bought 2 TVs from Walmart, and I finally took one out of the box, and look at it. I have it here. The one thing that I hate though is that I don't know what's up with this house, but like, for example, this plug right here and that plug over there are legitimately the only plugs that are in this room. And it's like the same thing with like all the other rooms. They only have like 2 plugs max, and they are in the most like what is going on locations ever. On a different note, I did say that I was going to do this. So, hello, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student here at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. If you are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is primarily a week in the life of a PhD student. And so it gives you an inside look of like all things student, all things teacher, all things human, and you get to experience it with me. And hopefully this is like embodying like a diary perspective, or I guess just to talk to the camera and talk to somebody. But you are here to see my happy side, my crash out side, my ups, my downs, my lefts, and my rights. And so hopefully if you are new here, you like the content, you like the channel, and you stick around. And if you're a returning person, thank you for sticking through. So yeah, cool. So update, it is currently 8:38 p.m. and first and foremost, I did my dishes. Look, I'm such an adult. So awesome. I was being a productive little boy. But the reason why I'm recording is not necessarily to update you, is that I took the initiative. Well, I was bed rotting. Actually, let me see where I was at. Hold on. Oh God, I remember now. So first and foremost, I ended up setting up my TV. Everything is fine and dandy. I didn't sign up to like all my stuff or sign into my stuff like Netflix and etc. But that's because I'm lazy. Honestly speaking, like when I used to live back at home, I was like, I bought a TV, I had a TV, and like, I kid you not, in the 3 or 4 years that I owned that TV, I think I only turned it on like 8 times. I'm not even kidding. And that was because it was like different people were turning it on and whatever. On that note, afterwards, I ended up realistically bed rotting for like a huge majority of the day. And then at some point I was like, I gotta cook something. So I ended up cooking. It's over there. And then while I was cooking, I decided to put my washer to start washing clothes and whatever. So I was being productive. I ended up washing my dishes, and so now I'm doing the cycle of like all my towels and washing them and cycling them out because it's a new week and blah blah. We're trying to be responsible, but the reason why I'm like bringing you with me is because I don't think I've ever shown my basement. And so we're gonna go, but I'm always afraid of walking down these stairs because I feel like I'm gonna like eat dookie. Look, it's steep, and then this step right here, as you can see, is like cracked, and I don't want to die because I'm like 32 years old, and I don't think I'm gonna like be okay. I'm not a youngin' no more. So we're in my basement. That's my washer, my dryer, and then look how steep. Look at that. It's like deep. See how far away this is? I can like legitimately have another like apartment here or whatever. Hello, good morning. Today is Monday, November 17th. It is currently 10:55 a.m. And as you can see, we are already in our Oakland Community College class. Last night was kind of like whatever. I ended up just being home and honestly bed rotting and doing nothing. I mean, nothing is an understatement. I did do my video for the YouTube channel, so that should be up and running. But what I mean is that I didn't do anything worth school related. And so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do know that I managed to relax, I guess. I don't really know how to put it. On that other note, though, we did end up situating ourselves for the real world. And so what that means is that today we're going to talk about their thesis statements and how that's going for their final paper. And then I'm going to tell them whether or not they're doing a good job on that end of the shtick. But then I also need to talk to them about the semester or like the finalizing the classes, because we're like, I remember when I started these YouTube or like this class or whatever, and it kind of feels like, I don't know, man. It feels like time flew by really, really fast, and now we're almost about to be finishing the semester for this particular class in general, and it's kind of like, whoa. So, update. It is currently 8:13 in the night, and there has been several things that I have been doing. First and foremost, I was a big boy today, and I had to go meet my primary care doctor here in Detroit, Michigan. And so I met her. She's really fun. She's really funny, and I liked her. So I guess we're keeping her. We evaluated somewhat of my history just through verbal. I haven't really gotten my paper file of my medical profile or whatever you want to call it and my record from back in California. So I gotta get that at some point. And I know I have like the form in my mail, but I haven't even done the paperwork or whatever. So that's my fault. But besides that, I went to go do that. She prescribed me the medication that I have over there in California, which is mainly my vitamins and stuff like that. I came out okay in my lab work, except for like 2 different locations, which is primarily my iron. And so I'm not anemic, but I'm like in the brink of kind of being anemic. But that's normal or expected from somebody who has gastric bypass. It's kind of whatever. I ended up coming home, and then my mom had previously told me that like she had purchased some stuff for my house because she's gonna come over and blah blah. She never told me that she purchased pillows for my house, but she did end up purchasing pillows. And when I got them, I was like, what the hell is this? And so here are the pillows. Watch. Look at all these pillows. She bought like 8 pillows. What the hell am I gonna... I haven't even seen if they're like good pillows or if they're like crappy pillows. But I was like, what the hell am I gonna do with 8 pillows? And then the other thing that's kind of funny that she kind of got bothered about is that she had bought me these like insulated covers, like these protectors to go on the windows so they don't produce that much coldness. And so they look like this. So they're like, one side is like, I don't know, like, I don't know what they're called, gray or filtered out, whatever the hell. And we had taken measurements. Long story short, they're super short. I told her that it was like by feet or by like inches. And so I was telling her like I need a 30 by 6 or like a 60 by 30 measurement. And I guess she thought it was centimeters. So right now when they arrive, they're like tiny compared to how I need them. And so she got triggered by that. And then she bought me some other stuff, but that's besides the point. Anyhow, after I got home, honestly, I've been bed rotting. There's realistically not much else to tell you on that end of the shtick. I have been debating what to do, and I don't know if it's because I'm just unmotivated or because it's like that end of the semester where you don't want to do anything and you're just there existing. And so I'm currently there and I'm kind of like whatever about it. And so now I'm just like, The other thing is, though, that the cool thing about this whole spiel is that I forgot to mention this. So my advisor back at San Diego State, Matt De La Pena from my Masters of Fine Arts program, is going to be here in Detroit, Michigan. And apparently he's going to be here tomorrow. And so he is going to be at the music hall or whatever of like performing arts. And then the other time he's going to be in the Detroit Library, the Detroit Public Library. And I know that when I was back over there, he had told me that he was going to be here in Detroit. But I don't know if it's because I have a hypothesis. One of them is that I sent him an email as in like an update and he never got back to me or he never replied to me. So either he's like, I'm over with this kid and I don't want to ever see him ever. Or because I sent it from a personal email and I sent it to his like San Diego State email, maybe it like flagged it as like, this is an outside email. So we're going to put it in the junk file. And so he never got it. Or maybe he's just like, I don't want to see this kid ever again. But unfortunately for him, I am going to be going tomorrow to go see him. And so I'm going to be like, surprise, your nightmare's here or whatever. So now I'm just here. Good morning. So today is Tuesday, November 18. It is currently 9:25 in the morning. And first and foremost, we are on our way. We're here at Wayne State, but we are on our way to our office so I can drop off my backpack. And then assuming that I can do all that, we are then going to go on to the Q line, which is like the free, I don't know what you would call it, metro, whatever, here in Detroit. And we are going to go to the performing arts studio or whatever in downtown Detroit, because that's where our San Diego State University advisor Matt De La Pena is going to be having like a book showing. And I don't know if he knows that I know that he's gonna be there, but we're gonna try our best to be there. Today I do have lecture that I have to teach at Wayne State. Then I have to go do my whole spiel of my practicum, and then I have to meet my practicum teacher for a meeting regarding my future here at at Wayne State. And so we're all over the place right now. And then as you can see from our beautiful skies right now, according to the Apple forecast or weather forecast, it is going to snow today. So that's nice. Update, it is currently 11:39 a.m. and we just got done with the event that we went to go see. I took video with my phone because I didn't want to take it with the camera. That would be weird, especially because it's like a children's event or like a middle school event. And so obviously I wanted to respect that type of privacy, and also I didn't want to be told like something. I didn't want to stand out like a sore thumb. So I ended up taking video with my phone and trying to block out everybody else from being in the video. So that was something. And then I ended up walking up to the stage and talking to Matt and having a good time and reminiscing. The poor guy though, he came in on a red eye, and then he's like, I'm too old for this, like being on a red eye. So he's exhausted and he's like going through it. but he is going to have another event sometime tomorrow, like around the same time. So I am gonna go to that and see how that goes, and hopefully then I can talk to him and spend time with the guy. But we'll see. Hello, so update. It is currently 9:07 p.m. and so it's been kind of like a roller coaster. Not necessarily a bad thing. So overall, at some point we came home, right? And so based on that logic, I was doing basically nothing to some extent. But then I want to say, to hold myself accountable, I actually did what I said I was going to do. And I finally read the final readings, or the final assignments readings that we had to do for composition theory class. And I know that I was like beating around the bush, and I was saying like, I'm going to read it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that at some point. And now I did it. And so on that note, I'm pretty excited for two other readings. And so essentially, the final two readings that I had to get to do, they were talking about how essentially we have to like accept AI and have to integrate it. And a lot of people, they were like faculty driven articles where faculty were talking about how they were supposed to either neglect or like strip away AI or actually use AI. And so the article talked about how some people or some teachers were using AI and how they were using it and like how they were incorporating it in their class and all that shebang. And so it was really cool to see how they implemented it. A lot of people are saying like, hey, like I'm not really using it to like grade. I'm not using it like to implement, like to put my student stuff in it, and I will be assessing their grade based off whatever ChatGPT says or whatever. But they were saying how they were using it as content evaluators. So like if they had a prompt that they would put on there, and then they would be like, based on my student learning outcomes, based on what this university is requiring me to do, and blah blah, like how can I make my assignments better? And so they would talk about that, and then like the AI would have better guidance and et cetera, and it will make the assignment better. So now I have to like actually do my whole shebang of like my discussion board. But it's really cool to like see how like people are actually integrating. There was an article that kind of like annoyed me because a lot of the one of the people on the articles was essentially saying like, we don't have to mold ourselves to anything. Like AI is here, but we have the power to say whatever we want, whatever. And so essentially the moral of the story, or at least how I read it, he essentially said like, it's either my way or the highway. And if they're not willing to like bend their arm because they want to use AI, well then I'll bend it for them and I'll like end up breaking their arm basically, right? That's how I took it. And it is kind of like extreme, but essentially what they were saying is like, I don't need to change my curriculum or my problems or my projects or whatever, because I don't have to change. They just have to accept that they're not going to use AI. And it's like, no, buddy, like to my general understanding, the way that I see teaching, or the way that I see pedagogy, or like being a teacher or a university professor, etc., is that you're devoted to learning. Whether you're a teacher and you haven't been in an actual classroom for like the past 20 years, it is still your job to like learn stuff, because you are being the middle ground or the guy who's going to teach the new generation, right? And I'm not saying that you have to know everything, but at least know enough to not be that guy, right? And so what that means is like, for example, if you're a doctor and you are, and then you're right now, there's no cure for cancer, you have to do uh, chemo and et cetera, radiation. And then let's say that in 2026 they find a cure for cancer, but because you're back in the old days, you would be like, oh no, my logic is still to use radiation and chemo and because that's how I believe. Like no, like it's your job to inform yourself and apply and use and et cetera, as a doctor into the future. Now, that's the same thing for us, in my opinion. And so on that note, whether you agree that AI is good or bad, that's your prerogative. But in my humble opinion, Whether you like it or you don't, it's still going to come. And whether you like it or not, if you tell a student, don't use AI in my class, that's probably going to make them want to use it more. And so, on that note, I think you should do your due diligence and find a middle ground for you to be able to educate yourself on what AI means and what do you go about it and blah, blah, blah. Till the end of the general gist of it is that it's better to know about it and educate the students about it than to not know about it and be that, I don't know, tyrant that is like, you're not going to use it because I said so. And that's a whole different spiel. But overall, I am going to write my discussion post and see how much pot I'm going to stir.
Okay, so I love music so much. I listen to different kinds of music. I bet all of us up here have our own version of what music leads to good first draft writing or inspiration. So when I was growing up, I only listened to like R&B or hip hop. And then when I got older, I switched over to the saddest singer-songwriter stuff in the world. Very depressing music. And I still love that so much.
Hello, good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, November 19th. It is currently 3:09 p.m. and we're finally home. As you can see from the beginning of this whole thing, I went to the second iteration of Matt De La Pena's event here in Detroit, Michigan, which is for literacy for kids. And so today I was in the Detroit Public Library and I met up with the guy again and everything. This time I took my books with me. And so he ended up like autographing them, and he ended up like giving me like his little messages on my books. But apparently the Literacy for Kids back in 2016, I believe, made this book with a bunch of authors. And let me show you, with a bunch of authors, and one of them was Matt De La Pena. And so I told there was three authors, including Matt, there, and they had done the book for this. And then I told them if they can autograph my book. Sorry, my table's a mess, but look at all the autographs. And then I asked Matt to sign his books for me. He signed one of them. Well, he signed all of them, but these are his autograph to Manny. And then he did this one. Wait, yeah, this one. And this one says, to Manny, the perfect place is where you are, with his little signature. And then lastly, his book Patchwork. And then he did sign this one. I can't remember. And it says, to Manny, you are more. You better send me your first published book, or your first book. And you give me a letter. So super nice. It was really nice to see the guy. I really appreciate him as an instructor, as a teacher, hopefully as a friend. And it was nice. And so now I'm back home. I went to go meet up with Josh real quick. We went to go get Starbucks, and then we ended up just parting ways on that end of the stick. And I got home to a package from Costco, and now I'm officially a grown-up. Now I have dishes. Look, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but now I have big boy dishes, and I put down here because I don't really use dishes. I just use my Tupperware, but like the glass Tupperware that I have, and so now I'm trying to decide what I'm gonna eat. I don't really know. And then supposedly today I was gonna grade my students' papers and for Oakland Community College and do all that shebang, and I didn't because I was out and about. And so now I'm gonna probably lock in and do that, but I'm gonna be in the comfort of my bed doing that. Hello, so today is Thursday, November 20th. It is currently 3:30 p.m. and this is funny because I think this is the same like time frame that I like started vlogging yesterday, and it's kind of weird. So first and foremost, holy hell, I haven't vlogged in a hot second. yesterday I only said that one vlog, and then today I'm only technically doing this one. Today I went to go teach at Wayne State University, and now as you can see, I'm in my classroom for Oakland Community College. And today for Wayne State. I had given some examples and some ideas for project number 4, which is like their multimodal assignment. They have to do like a YouTube or like a podcast, etc., where they are bringing project number 3 into project number 4. And so we'll see how that goes. I gave them assignment. I gave them ideas. I gave them concepts of past students. I told them what's okay, what's not okay, etc., and that was it. Technically speaking, next week on Tuesday is our final day of class before we go on Thanksgiving break. But I told them that I'm going to cancel that class so they can, because I have some students that are traveling to go see their parents and their family for Thanksgiving. And I have some students that are going to be here, but they have to go to a different part of Michigan or a farther place to Michigan. And so at that point, like I was just like, no, everybody have fun, enjoy, relax, etc., on me or whatever. Now, if they have another class, it's their prerogative if they can skip that class or not. But my class is a-okay on that. Also serves that I still have some things to do, like grading and getting ahead of the curve with everything. And then I have my own personal student side things, even though I'm not doing anything for Thanksgiving. On that note, though, um, now that I'm here at Oakland Community College, I think yesterday they turned in project number 3, and then today we are going to be unveiling project number 4. And so I'm pretty excited on that. Let's see how they end up articulating all that jazz. Hello. So update. It is currently 9:43 p.m. and we're finally home. And we went to teach at Oakland Community College, and based off of that, we ended up presenting module number 4 and presenting essay number 4, prompt number 4, which is the same one as my normal Oakland Community College class. A lot of my class was currently going through it in the sense of like they were tired probably from their 9 to 5 and all that shebang. So honestly, today's class was really dead, for lack of a better word. It was really dead. And I understand, but at the same time, I did give them a fair warning that today was going to be a lot of information heavy because I'm supposed to provide all that information and I don't really have a choice. So it was kind of like sorry, not sorry type of scenario. Anyhow, other than that, tomorrow technically I have composition committee, but I'm not going to go because I want to lock in and start grading my papers for Oakland Community College, the normal class, and I want to start grading. Yesterday I got Oakland Community College paper number 3 for my fast track class, so I have paper galore right now, and so can't really afford to like mess around and find out. So that's where I'm at right now. And so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, time to lock in, figure that out. I also have to productively read. I am in the process of reading Bandura's for self-efficacy because I need that for my composition theory essay or dissertation situation where I'm trying to identify self-efficacy and trying to figure out how that's going to embody with generative AI. And so I need to do that at some point, especially if I'm going to write my 20 pages for my final and composition doing. So not really sure. So I think that's basically it. Right now I think I'm going to go read and I'm going to end up falling asleep relatively early because I want to wake up and do all that. So I'll talk to you guys probably tomorrow at like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. So bye.
Good morning. So today is Friday, November 21st. It is currently 4:26 a.m. and we just woke up to start our day, hopefully for grading and to get everything going on that end of stick. But before we do that, yesterday I showed you guys how I had my Squid Games mocha pot, and today we're going to use it and hopefully not burn the house down. So I had a never have I ever used a mocha pot, but I was told from all the TikTok videos that I should preheat my water and then put the water. So we're gonna do that. So let's see how this goes. So here's the thing. I personally like brown sugar shaken espressos, so that's why there's brown sugar, and I know that's basically not how it's made, but I also technically have brown sugar syrup that Sandy made for me, but I don't know how this is gonna turn out, so I'm gonna do that first and see if that brown sugar is enough. Okay, espresso, oat milk. And there you have it, brown milk shaken espresso, or whatever you want to call it. And so that's it. That's your. And then I gotta figure out whether it's sweet enough for me or not. But this is essentially how it's supposed to look like. And that's it. At the fraction of a cost. I usually stir it. So. I think it needs more sugar, but that's just me. So we're gonna add syrup and then we're gonna figure it out. Hello, so update is currently 12:24 p.m. and we got working pretty quickly. So before I started grading, now that I am grading, I did a lot of like stuff. For me specifically, I had to send out some emails to some professors. I had to send out some emails to some advisors and some deans and all that shebang. I also restructured all of my classes for Macomb Community College, for Oakland Community College, and for Wayne State University, that their Canvas shell or their D2Ls, like all of their assignments are going to be locked out at a particular day because I had talked to them in the classroom about it. And so essentially, some of them are locked starting December, and some of them are locked a little bit past, like a week past December or whatever. And so they've been advised and warned and essentially told that after that date, I am no longer accepting late work in any way, shape, or form. So, besides locking everything in and doing all that shebang, now I am currently working on my Oakland Community College, my regular class essay number 3 prompts, and so I'm grading them and going through them, and so far so good. There is a little bit of hiccups here and there, but they're like minor hiccups, and I'm just gonna like touch base on them and then be like, hey, like this is what you should be doing because you're not doing it correctly type of scenario, and then hopefully that fixes itself for project number 4, which is their final in the class. And so maybe not really sure. So update, it's already 8:18 p.m. and honestly I got off the computer because I'm not necessarily overgrading, but I'm like done for the day. I did get a huge chunk of grading done, honestly. I completed the normal track, so I graded all those papers. They're done, they're officially sent out, and da da da. I was currently grading my first portion of my fast track class, and that's where I kind of was like, ugh, I needed like 3 more essays to be done with that class, but I was like, nah, doesn't really matter if I finish them or not because since they are like both classes together, I'm still not gonna show them their grade until I'm done with everybody in the classes. So not like it matters if I finish one class and the other wasn't finished. So there's that. I made some pasta with meat and blah blah, and I ended up washing my dishes. That's why I have like a plethora of them, and I ended up being like productive on the side, essentially. And so I did that. I ate, and then I went back to grading. I ended up grading like 3 more papers, and then I was like, I'm over it. Um, I think what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put this pasta away. I'm gonna go brush my teeth, and afterwards, I am going to lay in bed until like I knock out. But prior to that, I'm probably gonna do some reading, um, and kind of be a little bit more productive before I die out, I guess. But overall, very productive day. Hopefully tomorrow, not hopefully, most likely tomorrow, I will finish grading all of my OCC papers. I will also go on to my Wayne State papers and see where they're at in the sense of like If there was any lingering ones out there, I will have to grade and put them in the system. So I'm going to do that. Afterwards, I'm going to check everybody's grades throughout the semester in terms of like assignments missing that I need to fill in or whatever. So once I'm doing that, then I'm going to officially start uh, destroying essentially Macomb Community College, where I'm just going to fully diving into that. I've been keeping up to date with that one, but I let the big boy um, major projects accumulate because I would like to give feedback on it and not just give them a grade. And so I am kind of sort of caught up with those, but now I'm gonna actually catch up with them. So
Hello, good morning. So today is Saturday, November 22nd. It is currently 10:13 in the morning, and we got up relatively early. First and foremost, I don't know why I woke up like at 2 in the morning, but like I bed rotted until like 4 a.m. And then I woke up and did my whole like little routine or whatever, where I get my coffee and my food and blah blah. And I ended up getting onto the computer, and I ended up finishing grading all of my OCC fast track class. So everybody got their grade. Well, everybody who turned in their paper got their grade. And so I feel very productive, but I just wanted to say one thing and one thing only. Right now, I was in the process of like finishing grading one of my students from Wayne that turned in their essay late. And I'm not trying to be like employee of the month or whatever, or teacher of the year, but I really put a lot of effort into the feedback that I give my students in their papers. Whether they appreciate it or not is a whole different conversation altogether. But I like to go to bed thinking that I did my due diligence and I did something good in life. And so that is my ticket to heaven, I guess. I'm not really sure how to put it. But with that being said, I was working on providing the grade to that particular student right now, and I gave her a bunch of feedback and blah blah on that end of the shtick, and I gave her her grade, and I like stupidly closed out the tab without saving the comments that I made for her, and everything got deleted. So honestly, I'm a little bit upset. I'm not gonna lie. And technically, I can do it again, but it's gonna take me a hot minute. And right now, I'm feeling a little bit demoralized. So I'm not gonna lie. So, update. It is currently 6:20 p.m. and there's a couple things that have been happening. Not necessarily productive things, but things in general. Overall, though, I haven't realistically done anything today, and I don't really know how to process this information. I've been going back and forth in the sense of motivation and enthusiasm, and honestly, I can already feel that this is going to bite me in the butt, especially because of the fact that I have that 20-page essay that I had to do for composition theory, and I haven't even anything at this point. And so I was like bedridden since that whole like video that I did where I was like really unmotivated because of the whole fact of my student comment or feedback or whatever. Since that part, I was like, you know what, I'm going back to like I'm going to bed and I'm just gonna whatever. And so I went to bed then. I literally ended up taking a nap, and then I woke up and I was bedridden because I was just lazy or blah or whatever. And so that was a hot minute, and now I just got out of bed and now I'm here. I didn't really know what exactly to do. For this week for composition theory is week 3 and technically the final week of not only the class but the readings. And we have like this theme for the past 3 weeks, including this one, is that we've been reading about generative AI. And so this week we are reading 4 more assignments for generative AI. And so they're fairly short readings. Only one of them is like 22 pages. And I was gonna get onto the computer to do that one or to do this. And then I don't know if it's like my wannabe ADHD or whatever that I was like, oh, I should also like go grade Macomb Community College stuff. And so now I'm just like, what do I do? Right now, I guess I'm gonna start grading. I'm gonna do that until I get like tired of it and probably either play video games or end up
reading these assignments. I'm not really sure.
Hello, so update. It is currently 10:30 p.m. and I did some actual good progressive productive work. I ended up grading I don't know, like a good chunk of my one of my Macomb Community College classes, and tomorrow I'm gonna be finishing that class, and I'm also gonna finish the next class, and I'm gonna situate myself about like what's happening in general. We are finalizing the semester, and everything is fine and dandy. But before I close out the video, essentially what I wanted to do, because I don't remember if I did this or I talked about this, but um about a week ago, give or take, I had a meeting with Laureen, which is our go to person for the PhD program. She's the one that will answer all questions about PhD, and she's essentially going to be my Mary Garcia from San Diego State. That poor lady worked for her paycheck. And so, with that being said, I had a meeting with her to transfer my MFA credits to my PhD credits. Because of that, I managed to find out like how many credits more that I needed in order to like graduate with the degree and all that shebang. Um, and then it turns out that after doing all that, I end up super ahead of the game, apparently. And with that being said, they told me that they were able to make it that I graduate in 3 years instead of four, or possibly a little bit sooner than that. On top of that, we managed to do my plan of work study, which is like a paper that talks about like all the classes that you're going to take until you're done taking the classes. And I did that. And upon doing that, we realized that even though I'm only a semester in or about to be a semester in, that starting next fall or in fall, I should be in the process or currently doing the process of taking my QEs, my qualifying exams. And if that's the case, holy hell, in the sense of like everything is going super fast and super like Speedy Gonzalez. With that being said, now I'm kind of thinking like way ahead of the game or way ahead into the future. And because, yes, it's technically 3 years, regardless if it's three or four, and I know that it's pretty far away, but I remember when I was in my MFA and I said that, and then I blinked and then I graduated. I think I want to approach this in two different ways. One, I want to approach it in the sense of I'm going to think about doing this of graduating in 3 years. When I'm trying to graduate in 3 years, I'm going to look at the job market and see what jobs for tenure track positions are available, seeing if I can apply to some of them, and assuming that I get a job, then I will end up defending my dissertation and becoming a doctor. Assuming that there is no job that I particularly like, or there is jobs and I applied and I got rejected or whatever, then I'll stay in the PhD for another year. The other thing that I'm also embodying is that relatively soon I'm going to be working with the professor to publish together. We're going to be working on a piece for generative AI together, and I don't know how long that's going to take. So, assuming that we start today and it takes all 4 years, then obviously I'm staying. And then assuming that we get it working right now and then end in 3 years or less, then I leave type of scenario. I don't really know what my endeavors are. There's also another project that I might be possibly starting with another student, and I'm interested in that too and fully embodying that. I'm also in the process of figuring out if another person is getting enrolled into the PhD program. And if she does get enrolled, she would essentially be my generative AI partner for the field, and we would particularly be publishing together. And so, with that being said, I don't really know what the future holds, whether it's a stay for 4 years or stay or leave in three. But it is sounding pretty exciting. Just the fear factor of like, yeah, we're a semester in, but first and foremost, the semester went hella quick. And then second of all, 3 years or 4 years is it goes like that in a blink of an eye. So I'm excited, especially with all the things that I'm currently trying to figure out and plan. Um, I'm especially excited for those collaborations with my teacher and then also with another cohort member right now. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But the exciting thing is that this upcoming week is Thanksgiving break. And so I am going to be in my house 24/7 and I will be doing my work. We're going to be especially reading a lot and we are going to be talking about a lot about this upcoming dissertation segment where I have to figure out what's going to happen for my composition theory essay. So I guess tune in for that. And with that being said, my closer. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student here at Wayne State University. I am in the English department. I am part of the rhetoric and composition side of things. My emphasis is science and technology, and my identity or my dissertation is on generative AI and post-secondary education. So if you're new here, welcome. This channel is primarily talking about a week in the life of a PhD student and whether it's a positive thing or a negative thing or whatever thing. With that being said, please continue to join us. If you like the videos, stay, and if you don't, thank you for watching and finding me. But for those of you that are here, welcome, and for those of you that are returning, thank you for coming back. With that being said, thank you for watching and talk to you guys next week.